The brand new MCU television show She-Hulk Attorney at Law finished up recently with its finale, and we are going to talk about it today and have me give my thoughts on it overall. For me, generally, when I talk about the MCU as a whole, I have come to really enjoy everything that the MCU has put out. Whether certain things are lower on my tier list or higher than others, I still find enjoyment in just about everything that they have done so far from the movies and the television shows. Unfortunately, we've sort of hit a point in time where I'm a bit mixed on where I really truly stand on the newest show that they just recently finished with She-Hulk. This was a show that, in all honesty, I was looking forward to because of the fact that it was something different that the MCU was doing. It's a legal comedy focusing on this character that is one of the more well-known characters of an older generation of comic book characters in the Marvel Universe. A character who is known for being a comedic character and one who is the first to break the fourth wall even before Deadpool did his thing. And so with all that in mind, I was really looking forward to seeing what the show could do for something different. And so after 9 episodes, I have to say, while I thought the show had a good start with its first couple of episodes, a really rough patch of several more in the middle of its season, and then a surprisingly fun last 2 episodes to end it off, I think this show overall was just okay. I didn't think it was great or good by any means, but I also didn't think it was terrible or the worst thing that I've ever seen. I think because of the highs and lows that this show offered to me, I think it really just lands somewhere in the middle. And because of all that, I have to say that unfortunately, this is going to be my least favorite thing that the MCU has ever done. I just think that because of that really messy middle half of the season, I think the show just didn't do enough for me to really give it enough of a reason to hold up with a lot of the other shows or movies that have come from the MCU. And to speak on the things that I did like, because there are quite a few, I do like a lot of the characters that are featured in the show, whether that be our main girl in Tatiana Maslany as Jen Walters or She-Hulk. I think she was fantastic in the show and did a great job leading it. I think Tim Roth as Abomination was funny and charming in the show. Mark Ruffalo becoming back as the Hulk and Bruce Banner was also really cool to see, especially since I do love him as this character. Benedict Wong as Wong is always one of the best things that the MCU has ever done. He is funny, and every time he is a presence in the show, you want to watch him. Jen's friends, for the most part, were also a nice addition to helping her through her life, who brought some funny jokes of times, and some not so funny ones as well. And then finally, my man Charlie Cox as Daredevil, or Matt Murdock, was absolutely amazing in the episodes that he was in for the final 2. It was really good to see him back again as that character, and with the amount of screen time he had, it really got me excited for his own show coming in 2024. With regards to every scene that had to deal with the legal side of the show, I did find it to be entertaining at points and fascinating to watch, especially when we get to a case that does involve both Jen and Matt Murdock. There's a lot of comedy in the show that I did find myself laughing at depending on who it came from, character-wise, and again, I did enjoy the first 2 episodes as well as the last 2 episodes. Those were, in my opinion, solid episodes that had some really good moments in them. However, that being said, that's pretty much all that I liked about the show. I think with regards to everything else, the show is really just a big mess. It's a mess story-wise, character-wise. In certain cases, the CGI is not that great, but I understand because the people who are doing the effects probably got crunched into doing it, and also it's a new model for the character. There is a lot of comedy that I felt was lacking so much in so many places, and overall, it just feels like the thing that this show was at its worst at was having a focus. Once we get past episode 2 and we go into that middle patch of 5 episodes or so, I really found myself trying to understand what it is that the show was trying to do and what it wanted to be. One minute it wants to be a show about the law. The next it wants to be a really silly show with all these crazy antics that go on while also trying to be a comedy. The next minute it wants to be a super serious show when you are bringing in a character like Daredevil. And at the same time it feels like a drama comedy where you follow Jen into all these plot lines that you just don't care for about her old high school friend who is getting married, for example. Oh, and how could I forget? Another thing that the show focuses on is, of course, the main villain plotline, if you want to call it that, which revolves around this very meta look into the real-world aspect of online discourse and trolls who go after a character like She-Hulk for who she is. With all that I just mentioned, I think if you were somebody who didn't watch the show, you could tell that that is a lot for a 9-episode single season to focus on. I don't know why, it just for some reason to me felt like the show didn't know what it wanted to be and was trying to do too many things at once, while also incorporating way too many characters for you to think about and care for. Like, you guys will know, I will be as honest with you as possible here. Once we got to that middle portion of the season, the show really did lose me, and I thought this was going to end up being the first thing that the MCU did that I really disliked. And again, like I said, those last 2 episodes really saved it for me. If Daredevil had not shown up, and if the finale had not been as different and actually kind of fun in a weird way as it was, I think it would have been a bummer for a lot of people. I just think if the show had focused centrally on one specific thing instead of trying to do multiple things at once, you probably given people more of a reason to like the show, especially since these episodes are as short as they are and you are cramming a lot of stuff into each one each week. One of the biggest things I've definitely seen a lot of people say is that the show is too silly, and I honestly can't agree more. I do think it steps out of bounds a lot with that silliness. And to be clear, I want to make it as understandable as possible. I get what they are trying to do with the whole meta aspect of making the villain plotline around what we see in real life on the internet, either with trolls or grifters who really just like to negatively talk on things that they don't have any knowledge about or just want to hate. I get that, I do. I see it all the time. However, if you were going to do that, you should have made it the focus and been more clever with it. Or it could have just been a side thing that was only addressed once. And also, I will say this too, I am not of the mindset that this show is made to exclusively hate on guys. I think if you would actually watch the show, you would understand that there's commentary on all different types of people, girls or guys. There are people who act the way they do in the show that is very much a resemblance of who you see in real life. There are guys that are absolute dicks, but also guys who are really passionate and listening. There are girls who are the same way from both sides of the coin, whether that be Jen's close friends or her old friends from high school who make her do stupid things at this wedding. I think there's definitely commentary on all sides, and I think to say that it only is essentially on one is incorrect. And listen, at the end of the day, is this going to be a show that I come back and rewatch again? Honestly, probably not. I don't think I'm going to find myself watching it ever again. And if I'm going to be perfectly honest about it, unless they get some new writers on board for a second season, I do not want to see another season for this character. I'd rather see her pop up in another show or movie than see another season for her solely. And that is not to say that I hate the character for that reason, it is simply just because of the fact that this season did not do enough for me to want to have another season. And I guess the final thing we can talk about is that finale of the show, which set up a potentially big future to come with characters like Hulk, who could be getting his own film in the MCU after he revealed that he had a son. These are questions that we're going to be asking for a while now, and so that particularly I am looking forward to. But overall, this was another new project in the line of the MCU that we got, and these were my thoughts on it. I am now curious to hear what everyone else's thoughts are on the show. If you can please comment down below what you thought about it, and be as respectful as possible, and let's not get into any heated arguments. As long as we can have a disagreement or agreement on our opinions, that is fine. Of course, I would greatly appreciate a like on the video if you are new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more in the future. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.